I'm going to walk you through exactly how I read Bitcoin structure step by step from the higher time frames down to the 1 minute chart. Watch carefully, you'll see how clean and simple this process really is. And the best part is once you follow these steps, reading structure becomes second nature. You can see the market story instantly, and even the smaller swings start to make sense. Every zone, every swing, it all lines up if you just follow the structure carefully. By the way, for those of you who follow my structure method, we've built something new that's going to make your charting a whole lot easier. I'll show you exactly how it works later in this video. Now we're on the daily time frame currently of the BTC, but let's actually go up even higher. Let's go to a monthly time frame and we'll work our way all the way down from this monthly time frame down to a 1 minute chart, and I'll show you how easy this can be done even on Bitcoin, okay, to read your structure. We're going to start with this monthly time frame. And you've been following the previous videos on how we mark the structure up. Hopefully you already understand that we can identify from this high, we can mark across, there's a break of structure. This is not a pullback phase, so we continue from this low. We have another pullback here, another breakout, and from this low is our next low. And then potentially we're looking either for continuation, pullback like this in the market. This is how we look at our structure. Now, if you're not confident on how I actually mark the structure up, you can go and watch the following video coming up next. It goes through step by step on how and why the structure works, exactly how to map it on your charts. But if you're looking for a shortcut, then this is going to be a video you need to see today. I'm going to plot on the chart here my new indicator, which shows you instantly, and I mean instantly, the breaker structure, the highs and lows, and leftover imbalances in the market. Now, this has been fully customizable, so you can change it to whatever you want. And this is going to show you how quickly and easily we can go through marking this structure up. Understanding structure is key. And just for now, you can see how the structure is mapped already by the indicator for you. So looking at this, we can now understand we have our last break of structure here in the market. So we had a nice break of structure to the upside, like I just went through. This is a current potential weak high, but only if I see the market starting to close down. That's why we see that dashed line at the moment. Now down here, we do have an area of demand. Now at an area of demand, this is where we can potentially look for the market to pull back into for potential reversal out to continue back for the weak high. This is how we understand reading our structure with our supply and demand. So this is currently telling me I am bullish on a monthly time frame. That is it. That's all we need to know right now, that we're bullish. We haven't created a valid high yet for potential pullback. Now if we drop down to the weekly time frame, we can see that the structure is already mapped for me. We have a nice breaker structure on this bullish candle to the upside. This creates my strong low. We had a sweep of the week high, which very often you're going to find this can happen to create a push to the downside. Now, more importantly on this area, without going into too much detail, what I'm seeing here is this close down leaves this area of imbalance. Now you can see the indicator has marked those two candles out for me already. So this is now an area of imbalance prices pull back into, and I'm expecting to see this hold. Unless we close through the high of this zone, then we can see a run down for this low and potentially even running through that low as well. Now this is a strong low, so we could just see a sweep and run higher, or we could see a reversal. Now to see a reversal at this point is going to be in line, understanding our structure on the monthly, because we're waiting for that valid high to be created on a monthly time frame. So let's say from this point we close through this imbalance, we're going to continue higher, and most probably then close through this week high and continue up. And that's what we're going to see then on the monthly continuation. But if we see a reversal, removing this low in the market, shifting structure, that's going to give us our valid high in the monthly, and then we could see a potential pullback on the way back down that monthly area. So that is my weekly time frame. You can see how quickly we can do this now and understand where the market's going. So if we're now believing that this is going to hold at this imbalance, what would we want to see on a daily time frame dropping down to the next time frame? Drop that comment below and let me know exactly what you think we should now see on a daily time frame to confirm that this imbalance is going to hold and we could see a run down towards the strong low again on the weekly. So I hope you've done that. If you have, let's now go to the daily time frame. Okay, don't cheat and watch this bit and then put your comment in. I want to really know what you think. So go to the daily time frame. Now we have more qualification of the fact that we're bearish on the daily time frame. So we have a strong high, weak low. That means we are bearish in structure. And if we see that area of imbalance holding price on the weekly, it gives us validation that we continue to run down here on the daily. Now, the only thing that is against me on this move is that we did push through this level with a nice bullish imbalance. And again, you can see how this indicator shows those candles straight away. So we have to, before I'm going to see price running lower, push through this area of imbalance. Until price can do that, there is still a chance that we could run higher and potentially sweep this high for liquidity. And that's what we're going to see at the same time as potentially the imbalance being swept or holding as well on the weekly. Then we can see the run to downside. That's a possibility. We'll see this area of imbalance hold, push price higher to sweep the high, then we get the reversal. Now, if we don't see that and we see it close through this high, that's shifting structure and we can continue to go bullish. And that's going to show us then the imbalance being closed through was probably on the weekly. If we close through this imbalance, then potentially we can start to see a run down towards this low. So that is the daily time frame. See how it all aligns. Once you understand your structure, we're bearish on this structure. Going quickly back to the weekly time frame, we know we're currently bullish, but we could hold at this area of imbalance and push even lower, mainly because we push through this area here. So now let's go to the 4 hour. Notice how quickly the highs, lows, break structure and imbalances are plotted. That's the structure companion tool. It automatically marks everything across all time frames. Fully customizable, so you can focus on trading with clarity instead of spending hours drawing lines. We're opening pre-orders for just 50 founding members. Lifetime access at 50% off during this first release. Pre-order your structure companion tool today. The link is in the description to secure yours now. And again, let's wait, we get it mapped out for us. So we can see where the market's been moving. Currently, this is our last break to the upside. The market's just come back and has swept this low after failing to take out that high. So we came back, again, look, we pushed through on this candle closing down. Let me just show you what I mean. The market pushed through here. To put that back on. That indicated we would need to run this low. We then had this bearish imbalance, which was very, very close. Let's have a look. Yeah, we just closed through, which meant we had to run a high, which is these highs here. They got run. Then we went down to run the low. So now potentially what we can see is a close through the 4 hour low. If it does that, then on the daily we could see a run and a close through that imbalance. But if this is just a sweep, we could then see the market want to run higher from this sweep into the imbalance below to take this week high, and then we see a run of that daily high. Now, if you prefer to see your levels on your higher time frame on a multiple time frame, so you want to see your daily level up here, that can also be applied using this indicator. And I'll show you that as we go through the lower time frames. So this is how quickly you can start to understand your structure. This is on Bitcoin. I had quite a few people say they can't see it working on Bitcoin, how we apply the structure, but you can see how easily this will work. So let's go down to the 1 hour. And again, we can see we just had a shift of structure to the downside. So we were bullish. We came all the way back down. We came to this area, ran higher, failed to take out the high. I don't think it was even a sweep at this high. No, not quite a sweep. And then we've gone down and closed through this low. That's created a shift in structure, and currently we're bearish on the 1 hour. Now on a 30-minute, we're going to see the same thing potentially. Yep, we got a close through. And you can see how this indicator plots this perfectly. That just closes through that level. So we got a valid close through. Now we do have a nice area of supply above. An area of imbalance here could hold price and continue to run lower. We don't have a valid low created yet. So that could create a valid low on the next close up if we see this. And again, the next video will explain exactly how we look for this structure to be marked out. So now let's go further. And we'll go to a 15-minute. And again, we see the same thing. So everything from the 15 to the 1 hour is aligned. We are bearish. We've just closed through the structure on every single time frame. So we have a bearish bias to the downside. We've now created a weak low on this 15-minute. So if we start studying what's happening on the 15-minute, we've got imbalances here on the way up. We've got a previous area of supply. We've got a high here as well. So we could just see a simple push into this imbalance, continuation lower, new bracket structure. This happens very often, but we want to see a deeper pullback when we're looking for a trade. How do we know when the market's going to shift back bearish? We can start going through the lower time frames. So the 5-minute, again, look, we can see this is bearish. A nice break to downside, a good strong push down, and we create our low. And as we create the imbalances on the way back, like you can see here, these are creating areas where we can pull back into for continuation to counter trend. Remember, whenever you see the weak low, a strong high, it's bearish. So if we're looking to buy on that, we are counter trend trading. If we are selling, we're going pro trend. So again, we can identify that we pull back into this imbalance and then continue down here. So this is a valid low was created. This is a previous high. Now, the easy thing here, if you want to see previous structure, then all you've got to do is create the indicator. Okay, we can go to settings, just go to the settings, and I can change on how many I see. I can add 40 previous levels here. And it's going to mark all that previous structure for me on the chart, just like that. No need to go through mapping it up now, okay? You can do this so quickly. But that's not the point. The point here is understand what and how to read this structure with multiple time frames, because many of you believe it doesn't work. So if we go down to the next time frame, 3-minute, again, we can see we're bearish with a potential pullback, pulling into the bullish imbalance. Okay, that's another confidence. It's with the 5-minute, 1-minute time frame. Same thing. We are bearish. There's been no pullback until this low is created. So the 1-minute, 3-minute, and 5-minute are all very highly aligned with the same structure. That means that we need to go up a time frame. So when we go to a 15-minute, this is the first time frame where we're going to see the difference. So what that means is that we could see price from here potentially running through to pull back deeper before we see a run lower. Doesn't have to, but there's something we could potentially see. Now, back to what I was saying about you can see the higher time frames as well if you wish. I've got 3 indicators marked on here at the moment. Let me just map these 2 on. And you'll be able to see that we're on the 5-minute time frame. We know that most of the time frames are highly aligned. And this is going to show me this is my 5-minute structure. We then got the 30-minute low, a 4-hour low there as well. And then we got a 30-minute and 4-hour highs. So when we look at zooming out, not only does this show me where the break structure was on the 5-minute, we also see it's a 30-minute break here and a 4-hour break as well to the upside. And further back, you can see the 4-hour here. So you can actually start to use the indicator to see multiple time frames on the one time frame. And this will allow you to then see whether you are bullish or bearish across that multiple time frame. Is it aligned? It helps you to quickly identify this. So when you're reading your structure, you're looking for your potential entries. Let's now just actually change this. I'm going to do is to show you on a higher time frame. So let me just put this to, we were on a 4-hour. Let's go for a weekly. 1 second. And then we'll add this one onto a daily. Let's grab that. And when we go to our 4-hour chart, it should then allow us to see those higher time frames. So now we can identify that we're bullish on that 4-hour, but on a daily, we're already bearish with that strong high there and a weak low. And like I was saying, we could see price want to run that strong high on a daily before we see a push down. We've also got that weekly high there. So we just quickly go to the weekly time frame. We've already swept that high previously. We're looking for a run lower, understanding our movement. We're coming towards this high. We could see a run high. We don't have to. That's where you just got to understand if we break through structure here, that's a shift in 4-hour structure. Then we could potentially start to see the market want to push lower like this. And we're running down towards the week low on a daily. And we don't have to then go higher. We continue to run this week low. And that gives you actually a potential end target. So if you're looking to trade with a 4-hour structure here, I say we're pulling back into an area of previous supply created on a breakdown side here, then you can look for your first target at your previous low. Before we wrap up, if you're still second guessing trades or staring at the chart, not knowing what the next swing means, that's exactly why I built the 90-day program. It takes structure and makes it step by step so you know exactly what to do instead of guessing. Traders like Danny came in after losing nearly $300,000. He didn't just learn structure, he finally knew how to trust it and rebuild his trading. If that sounds like where you want to be, the link to apply is in the description. Seats are limited, so check if one's open for you. With that pro trend, and continue to hold it for the daily week low. And this is how you can use the combination of the multiple time frames with structure. That's why it's easy to understand and follow structure even in Bitcoin. It is not hard. You don't need to go down to those lower time frames if you don't want to, but you can apply the exact same thing across multiple time frames, including lower time frames. So we've gone through exactly how you can do this from a top down on a monthly all the way down to 1 minute. Now, normally we go through mapping this up manually, but today I'll be able to show you exactly how I've done it with the companion tool. And we decided not to keep this just to ourselves. We decided to allow others to be able to benefit from this tool going forward with the mapping of that market structure. You can see how quickly it's applied and how easy it works for you. But of course, if you want to just actually understand how this structure is mapped out and do it yourself, you can still do that. And you can check that out in the video coming up right now.